So I'm sitting here right now with
Dorian.
And first of all, thanks for being here. I know you're busy. I know you didn't want to do the show today.
I don't like you very much.
I know.
But you know what?
I really had to twist your arm to get you down here. I threatened to stage my own show the same night as yours to try to compete if you didn't come down here.
Called How Often Do I Not Dream?
Right, which I think would do very well, but nevertheless. Katie, you're an actress here in Halifax, and you've been an actress all over the country. We'll talk about that. But right now we're talking about a show that you're going to be doing. The name of the show, if I'm correct, is...
How Often Do I Dream?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah?
Yeah.
That was actually my voice. I just projected it at you. That's one of my many talents. What can you tell us about the show?
It's a very multi-sensory experience, which is that I have a memory museum, and it's set up. You're smiling like
I've never heard that term
that's a
before.
cute
I like
idea.
that. Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's in the playing space. So I perform inside my memory museum. I have things set up all over the place for the audience to interact with by touching them. I have things to eat, so that you get like a taste sensory experience.
Wow.
Things to smell, I've got like a little iPod, something to listen to. And I encourage the audience to explore all that, allow all of the sensory experiences, all that input to sort of wash through them, and then if that triggers any personal memories, then they write this down on Post-it notes, and they stick the Post-it notes up on the set. So my set essentially becomes the memories of the audience. They build my set before, in a sense, they build the set before I start performing.
So how do you as an actor prepare for that? Because it sounds like the show then is the show different every night?
Oh, completely different. And because it's an exploration of what memory is and what that means, and what it is to remember, I don't have a set script. I have stories. It's all storytelling. So there's certain stories that I tell every night. They're sort of my tent poles that I can always come back to. But then the rest of it is all open for discussion. Like I want audience members to blurt things out. And sometimes they do. I was performing the show last summer, and there's a song that is featured in the show, and I don't want to give it away. But
so you're singing as well?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
There's an audience member who, I was humming part of the refrain, and an audience member just started singing it. And so we sang like half the song together, and then I had to stop because it was a fringe show and my time was limited.
And you had him escorted out and beaten by security? No. Do you encourage?
No, completely. Oh yeah, completely.
Wow. So somebody's listening to this because you just blew everyone's mind. So this is an interactive show.
Yep.
You listen, taste, touch. You put part of the set together.
Yeah.
Hard labor. You're low budget right now. You got to have people help you out build a set. But,
yeah. Theater's made of volunteers, man.
So this is like an experience maybe unlike what people might be typically expecting from a theater experience.
Oh, completely. In fact, I'm going to Spring Works Festival, which is in Stratford, Ontario, in May. And when I pitched them my show, I pitched it as performance art, as opposed to a piece of theater.
And you said something to me earlier off camera, and you said, don't bring it up, but I'll bring it up anyway. You called it like a standing alone piece or something like that. You said that's what we do. Do you know what I'm talking about?
As a solo show, you mean?
No, you said like our form of work, like your Facebook page is Facebook.com.
Speaking in silence.
Right, so what does that mean?
Speaking in silence is a sort of a style or an embodiment of work that's been developed over time by Alexis Milligan, who's the co-creator of the show and the co-founder, the artistic founder really of TransitUs. And it's not like it's a totally brand new idea, but it's something that she has been working with to use as a tool to create theater, to create theatrical elements or moments. And it's about what it means to have a body standing in space. So before the audience comes into my show, because I make them wait outside the doors, and then as they come in I greet them and I welcome them.
How long do they wait?
Well, until the doors open, until the show is meant to start.
Okay.
Because the first, quarter of the show is me introducing myself to the audience members. I meet them, I get them to come up on the stage where I have my memory museum, and we sort of hang out, and they wander around, and there's music playing. It's pretty chill. And How Often Do I Dream is a multi-sensory performance experience that explores what memory is, what it means if you forget your memories, or your personal histories and stories. And in that vein, it sort of explores dementia and cognitive decline due to old age. I talk a little bit about death and what it means to remember a person. But the essence of what Speaking Silence is what it means to see a figure standing in a space. What sort of narrative do you paint around that? And there are elements of the show where I sort of, for the lack of a better word, I dance. I do these movement, sort of choreographed pieces. And when I do that, those gestures are strung together in a very specific way that's meant to invoke a feeling that I'm after from the audience by painting a very particular narrative using very specific gestures. So if you were to see all of that in complete silence, you would still get a story. I don't have to be talking. I don't have to be dramatic. I don't have to show you how good I am at being sad or angry or happy. I can simply do the gestures and you will see a story. What it's like to remember, what it's like to not quite be able to remember, or what it's like to sort of feel nostalgic while also feeling nostalgia in a specific sense and also in a general sense. My Opie talked about that a lot, feeling nostalgic for a time that you couldn't remember, that kind of a thing.
Right.
So I wanted that, and the best way to get inside of that, I felt, was for the audience to actually have a really fleshed out experience. But also, I did all sorts of research, and in my research I found that typically people find stronger memories when they're connected to a sense memory. Right, so the smell of a cigar that reminds you of your grandfather, or you bite into a basil leaf and it reminds you of your mom's cooking, or what have you. Right?
So how do you create the smells in the show?
I have little jars of things. And
so it's the real things. It's not.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it's different every show. Like depending on what I can find. Sometimes I'll like.
So are you looking around the venue the night of the show for different things?
Not exactly.
That looks like it'll have an odor to it.
No, not exactly. But when I did my Fringe tour last summer, there were definitely days where I was running late or I was busy and I forgot something, and so I'd be walking down the street and I would just grab a flower from somebody's garden or grab leaves and grass, like natural things that like leaves that you can crush up and then they have a really aromatic experience.
Are there scripted elements? Like, are you telling a story? Are you acting out scenes, or is it strictly?
No, it's not. Okay. It's a lot like this. Like
okay.
If you came to my show,
But are you are you Katie Dorian?
I am me.
I know you are right now, but I mean in the show.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I speak from my own voice.
Okay.
I tell my personal stories,
right.
My memories. But there are little segments where I speak from the voice of my Omi, and I tell the story of how Omi and Opie first met.
Okay.
And there's a sort of deconstruction of that memory that happens that's meant to illustrate the cognitive decline.
Right.
So there is a little storytelling element where I'm not myself. I'm speaking from my Omi's voice, but otherwise it's just me, just chatting like this.
So if people, because you and I both know some people that would go to a show would feel intimidated maybe by being a part of the show.
Totally.
Can someone show up and not go on stage or do you encourage them to?
Well, I mean, it's my job. I feel that it's my job to create an atmosphere that allows anybody who doesn't like audience participation to feel like they can participate. They don't have to. It's also my job to read my audience members and know who is willing to be called upon and who is not. Right. Nobody stands up with me on the stage while I perform.
Right.
But part of the whole feeling of wanting it to be a really inclusive space and wanting people to feel like they can participate means that I start off the show by destroying the line that usually exists in between audience and stage. So I get them to, before they sit down, they get up in my space. They are on the stage. They are mucking around in my memory museum. They can move things around.
You don't yell at them?
No, not at all. One of the best things that ever happened was in Winnipeg. I think it was in Winnipeg, on my Fringe tour last summer. Is I have these old furs of my Omis, and one audience member started putting them on and was like looking at herself in the mirror, and I was like, that's kind of the best thing, because those items also, I mean, they hold memories for me because they belong to my Omi, but nobody had worn them or put them on in like years, and it was kind of nice to see that animated. I thought it was really lovely.
Well, I think that's a testament then to the mood that you created, that someone would feel that comfortable to put things on and things like that. It sounds like that person's probably enjoying themselves and getting into it.
I want everyone to feel really comfortable. My goal is not to make people feel uncomfortable, and if that starts to happen, I just back off. Like you can pretty clearly read people when they don't want to participate, you know.
Right,
And I'm like,
yeah.
okay, then you just get to watch and you get to listen, and that's totally fine.
Oddly enough, though, and you may have found this, sometimes those are the people that really enjoy the show, and then they tell you
Yeah.
after the show how much they enjoyed it, and you're like, wow, I would have never guessed,
Yeah.
based on your body language, that you would have been that into something. But
Yeah.
that's just different people take shows and take entertainment in different ways.
It's everybody, you know, as soon as you say dementia or Alzheimer's, people go, oh wow, intense, scary, sad, death, end of life, old people, and stuff that they don't want to talk about.
This is
it's
right off their
scary or
Facebook
sad,
page promoting the
you know?
show.
But it's a subject matter that's hard to crack into. A lot of people are a little bit uncomfortable talking about it or just don't know how. And I want to start a conversation. I want people to know that it's okay to talk about, and it might be sad, it might be scary. And the best way to key into that is to expose the lightness and the humor and the funny things that happen when you're dealing with that sort of subject matter, like dementia and old age and death. That I mean, yeah, it's hard, but I mean, if you don't laugh at it, you would only cry about it, and that would be the worst. So, you know, come laugh. Come laugh.
That's the slogan.
That's the slogan.
You had a little bit of, you didn't want to talk about this on camera either, but we will. Everyone in the theater community the last 2 days was a little bit worried about you, because we all
Right.
got notifications, you know, inviting us on Facebook to this event, and then about an hour later, we were all notified that you had canceled the event.
I had canceled the event.
And then a few moments after that, you had once again reinstated the event.
Yes.
So was that an emotional meltdown you were having? or
Facebook
what?
is the worst, and once you create an event that is private, you cannot change that setting. You have to delete that event and create a whole new one. That's what that was about. It's now public, so even if you're not on Facebook, go check it out.
And how can people check out the Facebook page? What would they? Can they just type in the name of the show?
You could Google search engine, how often do I dream ... in Nova Scotia,
You need the three
exclamation
dots.
point.
And
Yes, that's part of the title.
Okay.
It's not a question, how often do I dream? It is,
Oh.
how often do I dream with an ellipses? It's a trail off.
Okay.
It's a direct quote from an interview that I had with my Opie when his mind was not, he wasn't all there, and so he would
Okay.
often trail off in his thoughts. That's where the title comes from.
So how often do I dream ...
In Nova Scotia, exclamation point.
How often do I dream in Nova Scotia?
Mm-hmm.
Exclamation point.
Yes.
Okay. They type that into Google. They should find
The
the
Facebook.
canceled page, but then they'll also find this.
No, the cancel page is gone.
Gone, okay.
There is a public event page that you can find. You might even find the tickets on Eventbrite.
Eventbrite.ca. How much are
.com.
tickets? .com. Sorry.
Tickets are $20 general admission, or if you're a student or an artist or underwaged or a senior, then you can get the ticket for $15.
Yeah.
I'll be in Musquodoboit Harbour at 26 East Petpeswick Road at the Workshirt Opera House, which is a church that's been converted into a residential home. It's a house, it's my friend's house, and I'm performing in his living room in this old church.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So check out the show, and I think we've said.
Are you gonna see it? Do you think?
I haven't been to a
Tyler,
theater
do you think
production.
that you'll show up?
I haven't been to a theater. Well, Alexis actually asked me not to show up. So,
Oh.
because she used to teach me in 2009, she said the restraining order has not been lifted.
Okay.
So, but I might show up
Maybe-
anyway. She's not going to be there, is she?
You know what? She's in Ontario at the moment.
Then I'll be there.
Great.
I'll be there, and I will come up and experience all the different things. It sounds like a really unique show, and if you want to check it out, you can see on the bottom of the screen right now. Do you see that?
Oh
It's,
yeah! Wow, magic.
Yeah, so that's where you can go to buy a ticket. This is Katie Dorian. Check out the show, and we'll see you next time.